out of order on us. It was supposed to be Johnny Chapman going out first. There is Carl. And if you were following any of the news, NASCAR in the Nationwide Series and Camping World Truck Series has made one rule change in qualifying, and this is one of them. Carl, under the old system, would have been at the very end of the field with all those that were outside the top 30 in points. Now, it's all based on your practice speeds. He was the 41st fastest, or second to slowest. The only one slower was Johnny Chapman, as he ran a 33.09. Now here he did a 33.1 on his first lap, guys.
Yeah, they're seeing a racetrack they really didn't see yesterday at all. Both of their practice sessions were later in the afternoon and evening. Wasn't quite as hot yesterday as what this racetrack has been sitting here, so they're going to see hot, slick conditions. It's going to be tough to navigate and get a fast lap.
And it looks like he's going to take the one lap and sort of hang on to that and see how that shakes out for him. Obviously, everybody's going to make it. We've only got 42 cars, so no one will be going home. We talked about some of the drivers.
He might be the favorite to win the pole. After all, as Andy mentioned, the fastest in Friday's practice. Andy, or Marty?
Oh, all of us will respond, Mike. Don't worry about that. Mike Harmon out on the track right now, as he's the 53-year-old from Birmingham, Alabama. His career best start, 13th, back in June of '96 at Myrtle Beach. He's had 7 starts this year. His best was 28th at Talladega, guys.
You saw him up running a little bit higher on the racetrack. I think you want to stay away from that part. Get into that gray area. There's not a lot of grip right now. This racetrack will widen out as we get into the race tonight. It's there your maximum speed. You have to stay out of that right now.
Yeah, one of the things is the ARCA cars have qualified on the track earlier today, and they run a little bit different tire. So that rubber compatibility is, we hear people talk about that a lot, how that not running on the same tire could cause a little bit of not a good match for the rubber on the track, so it can cause a little grip loss.
Yeah, they run Hoosier tires. Josh Richards won that ARCA pole, in case you're interested. And as Mike finishes up, he runs both laps. His best a 33.11. And so that slides him into the number 2 spot. And that gives us a chance to bring in our other pit reporter here on qualifying. In fact, she was 17th fastest in the second practice last night. On the track right now, Robert Richardson. And Richardson already took his first lap at 33.20 seconds. That slots him into the 3rd spot out of the 3 cars that have taken times. Stay with us. We've got a lot. And back here at Chicagoland Speedway, Brett Rowe has finished his run, and he ran a best time of 32.48 seconds. And out on the track right now, finishing up his run, is the 87 of Joe Nemechek, and he's moved to the top of the chart.
He's second and 2/10 faster than the second-place car right at this time.
It's the 89 of Morgan Shepherd out on track right now, 17th in Nationwide Series points. His best finish this year was 18th back in Las Vegas. His best start was 28th at Phoenix. The lap tracker shows that he is well south of Joe Nemechek's time.
Yeah, it's just like Dale said. That time that Joe put up there is only a couple of tenths off of the fastest lap that's been run by, that was Trevor Bain last night in happy hour.
Yeah, overall, Trevor ran a 31.02 last night, and then in the first practice section, Eric Almirola had a 30.9 second. And it's the combined practices that set your speed.
Yeah, Joe Nemechek wasn't even in the car at happy hour last night. It was Kevin Conway that practiced the car and kind of earned the spot to go out here in qualifying.
And it is the car, and that's why they keep that alignment. And you're going to notice something here, folks. We're going to be right up front with you. We've got lightning in the area, so our high rooftop camera guys, since we don't want them to be lightning rods, we got them down off of their positions. That is Matt Carter. He's currently 7th. You see his numbers there, 32.54, a little over 165 miles an hour. So the 30-year-old slots himself 7th out of the 12 cars that have officially taken times. Let's take a look at the air temperature and the track. And you heard Joe talk about the fact that cloud cover came out.
Yeah, and it's made a huge difference. Normally it takes a little while, especially whenever you get a track that's up to 117 degrees. But that 12 degrees is a huge difference, Andy, and creates a lot of grip, as Joe said.
It really is. I mean, you look for any kind of cloud cover when you go out there to qualify because it makes so much difference. And you see Rick Crawford now running this 13 car. This is the first time we've seen him in this car this year, but Rick's a good shoe from the Truck Series.
Absolutely. Making his Nationwide Series debut as he runs 32.14 on that first lap.
But he'd have to have a 14 in his speed since he ran that truck number 14 for a lot of years. It is amazing when I saw this, though. I just had, for some reason, thought that Rick Crawford had run some Nationwide Series events with us before, or back in when it was the Busch Series, but glad to see him out here participating tonight.
Well, he leads all drivers in the Camping World Truck Series with 330 starts, 6 poles, and 5 wins over in that series. And he runs 32.14 on the second lap, which is improving. On his first lap, that keeps him in the 6th spot right now. Joe Nemechek is still the man on top of the board, and boy, the sky is looking ominous.
I'm not saying anything.
I know, you started this. That would be twice as good. Out on track now, the 46, Chase Miller, the 24-year-old from Georgia. He's got 42 Nationwide Series starts. His only start this season is back at Iowa, started 35th and finished 40th in that race. First lap at 32.28, guys.
Yeah, it's actually picks up about a 1/10 and a half over his practice speed.
You know, one thing we haven't talked about is that preferred line around this track. I mean, how much margin do you have, DJ?
Yeah, not a lot. I mean, you can see there's a little bit of grip, but you can see right there the car bouncing around. As I talked to some of these drivers, talking about how rough the bottom of the racetrack is. And with these cars, and we've talked about coil binding and the splitter hitting with these new cars, something they have to work extremely hard on. And you want to be as close to the bottom as you can, but it really affects you on the entry to turns 1 and 3. So you have to be able to arc the car in. Keep it free enough to turn in the center, but you have to be able to arc it in.
Second lap, no help for Chase. He'll stay in the 7th spot. And I think, Mike, you've caught up with Josh Wine.